Robert Eggers es considerado uno de los cineastas más influyentes del terror contemporáneo. Su sello distintivo es la obsesiva reconstrucción histórica, el uso de dialectos antiguos, la fotografía naturalista y la exploración de mitologías, folclore y supersticiones. Muchos críticos lo consideran uno de los principales representantes del llamado terror elevado. Hoy, en nuestro programa, revisaremos su filmografía completa, con detalles de filmación y detrás de cámaras exclusivos, que nos adentrarán aún más en la mente de uno de los nuevos directores del terror contemporáneo de la última década, el gran Robert Eggers. Sean todos muy bienvenidos a un nuevo capítulo de Película. Un cortometraje en blanco y negro basado en el clásico cuento de los hermanos Grimm fue el inicio de este incipiente creador de miedos. Eggers diseñó personalmente gran parte de los decorados y vestuario. Ya mostraba su obsesión por el folclore europeo y la obsesión por la fotografía macabra. Basado en el cuento del legendario Edgar Allan Poe, es la primera adaptación del famoso relato de terror psicológico. Fue una de las primeras ocasiones en que Eggers exploró la locura como elemento narrativo central.
What went we out into this wilderness to find? Leaving our country, kindred, our fathers' houses. For what? For the kingdom of God. Let's pray.
Su filmografía oficial comienza con The Witch o La Bruja. Nueva Inglaterra, 1630. Una familia puritana es expulsada de su comunidad y se instala junto a un bosque donde comienzan a ocurrir fenómenos inexplicables. Algunos datos de producción. Su presupuesto aproximado fue de $4 millones. Fue rodada en Canadá y utilizó inglés del siglo XII, reconstruido a partir de documentos históricos auténticos. Lanzó internacionalmente la carrera de Anya Taylor-Joy. Algunas curiosidades de la producción. La cabra Black Phillip era extremadamente difícil de controlar. Algunas escenas requirieron semanas de preparación por su precisión histórica, y el guión fue desarrollado durante años investigando archivos coloniales. Ganó múltiples premios y dejó a Eggers en el radar de las grandes producciones hollywoodenses. Dos fareros quedan atrapados en una isla remota, mientras la cordura comienza a deteriorarlos. Esta película fue rodada en blanco y negro. Además, utilizó lentes antiguos para recrear el aspecto visual del cine de principios del siglo XX. Está hecha en formato de imagen cuadrada y fue protagonizada únicamente por Robert Pattinson y William Dafoe durante la mayor parte de la película. Según Eggers, la historia comenzó como un intento de su hermano Max Eggers de hacer una versión contemporánea del relato de, nuevamente, Edgar Allan Poe, titulado The Lighthouse. Cuando el proyecto se detuvo, Robert se ofreció a trabajar con su hermano, eliminando elementos del relato de Poe, quedando así la historia como un thriller de época. Algunas curiosidades de El Faro. El clima extremo provocó numerosas dificultades durante el rodaje. Robert Pattinson confesó haber llegado al agotamiento físico extremo en varias secuencias. Y esta película también fue nominada al Oscar por su genial fotografía.
This film, The Lighthouse, came from an idea that my brother had when I was 3 years into trying to get The Witch financed. My brother worked on it for a while, and I asked if I could take a crack at it. And immediately I put it to a period setting, and I read a lot of stories about lighthouses and lighthouse keepers, and I came across the story of Small's Lighthouse in Wales in the early 19th century, where there were 2 lighthouse keepers, both named Thomas, one older, one younger, and a storm comes to their lighthouse and they get stranded. But the idea of the 2 Thomases could be a cool two-hander about identity that could very quickly become strange. It was not a difficult film to cast. It's impossible to see it without Rob and Dafoe. Willem and I had wanted to work together, and when The Lighthouse presented itself as something that could possibly get made, I sent Willem a Photoshop picture of him with the beard and a sou'wester hat, and he quickly came aboard.
When I read the script of The Lighthouse, it was pure pleasure. I liked the language, I liked the events. There were interesting things for the actors to do, and it was clearly going to be an adventure. And then when Robert Eggers told me how he was going to shoot it, that they were going to build a lighthouse on this bit of land in Nova Scotia and shoot out in the elements, it sounded great.
And Rob, I approached on another film, which he liked it, but he said that the role wasn't weird enough and he was only interested in doing weird things. And this was plenty weird, so he was happy to come on board.
At the time, I wanted to just do the most extreme, strange characters you could possibly find. And about maybe 3 months after I met him, Robert sent me an email saying, I think I've got something pretty strange, and sent it to me. And I was like, you are correct.
Thomas Wake, the grizzled old lighthouse keeper, is very much an archetype of the old salt. I think in anyone else's hands, it would be a laughable cartoon to have the pirate accent and the stump of the clay pipe. But Dafoe is a master, and he commits completely, and he inhabits the character.
He's a guy that's been at sea for many years. He's very loyal to the whole mythology. He's a real believer. That's all wrapped up in being a lighthouse keeper.
When I was doing research and trying to figure out how this character would talk, the most helpful author was a Maine-based author, Sarah Orne Jewett, who in the late 19th century was interviewing old sea captains. And they talked in this piratey dialect. So it is a real thing. Ephraim Winslow is an enigmatic character who both keeps to himself and makes a show of keeping to himself. You always care about the characters that Rob plays. So having Rob play Ephraim, we're immediately drawn into him, even if we sense that something is kind of off. And with it being just two characters, we have to love and care about both of these guys and not so much rooting for their objectives, because their specific objectives at times are deliberately unclear.
It sort of starts out incredibly serious and then it suddenly pivots, and I thought it was just hilarious and bizarre. And I loved what he does with his kind of regional colloquial dialects. I saw this one YouTube video of this little town in Maine where there were these accents which sort of sound like almost regional English accents, like West Country accents, but then mixed with really odd combination of dialects. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's absolutely fascinating. That kind of, there's a Maine accent which just sounds so bizarre.
Very often I have the atmosphere of the film in my head before I have the story. I knew that I wanted this movie to be black and white as soon as I figured that it was a two-hander in a lighthouse.
I think what's important for him and what he does and what's really exciting for me is that, he wants to transport people. This time it felt like it could be more photographic, just add that extra layer or two, just photographically to take you there.
Black and white film stock has a look that you can't achieve any other way. And we wanted to have a look that was closer to orthochromatic film, because that early film stock shows the imperfections in your skin. And so Rob and Willem would look more weathered and we would see every pore. So Schneider made a custom cyan filter for us.
Father! For whom you shed your last teardrop. I can feel that. I will avenge you, Father! I will save you, Mother! I will kill you, Fiona!
I will avenge you, Father. I will save you, Mother. I will kill you, Fiona.
Un príncipe vikingo emprende una brutal venganza contra el hombre que asesinó a su padre. El presupuesto de esta película ya es cercano a los 70 millones de dólares. Fue la producción más grande de Eggers hasta ese momento. Fue basada también en la leyenda nórdica de Apnet, inspiración principal de Hamlet. Utilizó asesores históricos especializados en cultura vikinga. Muchas de las secuencias de batalla de esta película fueron rodadas en plano secuencia y también cuenta con diálogos en nórdico antiguo.
It was our intention to try to make the most historically accurate Viking movie we possibly could.
The Vikings they were all over. There were so many great stories because it was important that it had the kind of the laconic tone of the old Icelandic sagas.
There's a poetry to the language of this. It almost feels like Beowulf.
I will avenge you, Father.
This mantra of I will avenge you, Father, I will save you, Mother, I will kill you, Fjolnir. It's a very singular drive.
Revenge is at the core of this story.
Most of these Viking stories are revenge stories, and Amleth was the source material for Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Or, if you're younger, The Lion King.
The predecessor was a Scandinavian legend called Prince Amleth.
Uncle kills dad, steals mom, son goes on revenge.
I will kill you, Fiona!
Everybody knows this. As an audience member, part of you just wants him to get revenge, because that's the way these kinds of stories work. But you do ask questions, who's right and who's wrong?
When I read Rob's first draft of The Northman, I almost cried of joy.
Till that day comes, I will torment the man who made my life a hell.
It felt authentic to the culture, to the people of the time. It had a lot of soul and heart. It was exactly the tone that I was hoping.
What got me fascinated was the rich mythology and poetry. Before I really knew that I wanted to make a Viking movie and I just started to learn about Vikings in general, I just didn't understand how sophisticated the culture was.
It's a very mysterious culture, and I think that fascinates people.
I knew that there could be something beyond just jacked guys cutting each other up with swords.
They had a hierarchy, and they had also a belief
find a religious belief.
There is supernatural thought in everyone's everyday life.
The Vikings believe that some people had almost like a spirit animal, and it lived within them. For women, it was often a sea creature, and for men, it could be a fox or a wolf or a bear. To people at the time, it felt like a kind of a normal thing.
You are still a beast, cloaked in man flesh.
That's why I like going into the past, is to try to like get inside people's minds who think differently than me, and then realize I could see how that makes sense to them.
Even though your brother stole my eyes, I see you.
Vikings were very fatalistic.
So there's something in the Norse mythology where 3 female supernatural characters called the Norns of Fate. They weave this tapestry of each and every individual's life. You have free will, but the Norns already know your fate has been set. And I quite like that image of the huge tapestry of your life, and it's not till the last thread or the very end of it where your life will be completed and revealed.
You cannot escape what fate the Norns have spun.
I think we have an innate curiosity to discover what lies beyond the horizon.
They lived in this world that was very harsh, and life and death were always on the edge.
I don't think I've ever had a stronger connection with a director than I do with Rob.
It's been so wonderful to work with Robert again.
To find a filmmaker who understands the tone, who is familiar with the old Icelandic sagas, familiar with the culture and the history of the Vikings. He basically became a scholar.
I don't do anything that I am not insanely passionate about because there's just not time in life for it, and it's so hard to make a film anyway.
If anything is even slightly anachronistic, Rob will be like, no.
Robert was in the fitting room with us and was going in detail of the folds, how the trousers was folding when he was moving around in the fitting room.
He will come up and be like, well, that thread they're using is from the 14th century, not the 11th, so we can't use that. So for the look of the movie, that's very reassuring to me. That's what you want when you make a period movie.
When I was a production designer, I always liked working with directors who knew what they wanted.
And he's extremely easy to talk to and articulate, and he'll tell you what he wants, and he'll tell you when, no, that's not what he wants.
That's very helpful. If you know what things are not, choices get eliminated and the path becomes clear.
The approach of trying to do something historically accurate, the great thing for me about it is that everybody knows what we're after. We know that we're after this thing.
Cut! Come to me. Come to me. Hear my call. Come to me.
Una nueva adaptación del clásico vampírico de 1922, inspirado obviamente en Drácula. Esta película fue un proyecto soñado de Eggers. Trató de mantener una atmósfera y estilo de expresionismo alemán, de comienzos de la era cinematográfica, jugando con una iluminación marcada y sombras definidas. Su rodaje fue realizado principalmente en Praga y su presupuesto fue cercano a los $50 millones. Se convirtió en la película más taquillera hasta el momento de su carrera. Algunas curiosidades: se utilizaron cientos de ratas reales en diversas escenas y gran parte de los efectos fueron prácticos. Eggers insistió en una ambientación históricamente rigurosa y la interpretación de Bill Skarsgård permaneció en secreto durante gran parte de la campaña publicitaria.
We are here encountering the vampire. Nosferatu.
When I was a kid, I saw a picture of Count Orlok, and it just had a kind of haunting atmosphere that really stayed with me. I've been thinking about how to do this story and how to make it my own for a very long time.
Nosferatu is a gothic tale of obsession about a 19th century young woman and this ancient vampire who haunts her and brings about horror all around him.
He is coming.
I'm just excited for this retelling of this classic and incredible story.
I was such a fan of Rob's movies going into this. I just really wanted to do justice to him and his vision because it's something that he's wanted to make since he was 8 years old.
It is like a dream. Standing before me was death. But I'd never been so happy.
Our intention is to make something that is both gothic and romantic, but actually truly a scary horror movie.
I'm ready.
All the actors really put every bit of themselves into it to make it the most dread-filled and atmospheric we possibly could.
Robert had a very particular vision for Warlock.
Nothing compares to this version of the character. It's genuinely scary.
It's a different look than we've seen of any vampire character. You feel the dark forces coursing through his body.
I could totally see how this story and its characters would lean so much toward Robert's work as a director. He's also so attentive to detail and really questioning why these characters are doing what they're doing and why they're thinking and their motivations.
I think that's what Robert brings to his movies, such artistic depth. Nosferatu is like no other movie I've ever done.
Only you can redeem us.
It's the scariest performance of my career. I've never been more scared in playing a character.
Come to me.
I'm blown away by the accuracy of the recreation of all these historical things that make the world so authentic. And even down to the fine details like Orlok's crypt.
Orlok's coffin is quite spectacular. It's based on lots of research of mainly Polish coffins. The real ones like have skulls on the side of them, you know, and like how sick is that?
I remember just thinking, wow, they're not building sets, they're building a world. Even the costumes on this film were so phenomenal. Every single thing is so authentic, so beautiful. I can't wait for audiences to see this film.
Everyone really put every bit of themselves into it to experience the scope and the scariness. Please go to the cinema and see this one.
We are here encountering the vampire, Nosferatu.
He's coming.
He is coming. He is coming.
As a kid, I was really, really afraid of stuff. And in making horror movies, I get to explore fear and also control it. Hi, I'm Robert Eggers, and this is the origin story of Nosferatu. When I was about 8 or 9, with the help of my mom, we acquired a VHS of Nosferatu. And I was just really struck by how this version distilled the Dracula story into a very simple fairy tale. The past really speaks to me. So it's most interesting for me to think about who we are and where we're going from where we came from. When I was in high school, I had the idea of doing Nosferatu as a stage play that would be a silent film on stage with black and white makeup, black and white costumes, and super titles. And I thought maybe it was a silly idea, but my friend Ashley Kelly Tata said, no, that's a cool idea. So we directed it together, and it cemented the fact that I wanted to be a director when I grew up. With your first feature, you have all these ideas about the movies you've wanted to make that have been brewing and growing with you, and then they all come out in your first feature, which becomes like very personal because of that, even if you're still finding your footing and finding your voice. But because Nosferatu's been with me for so long, this is arguably as personal because I've been working on this film for 10 years or more. And it was challenging to find something that truly belonged to me. It required writing a rich backstory for Orlok and a very rich backstory for Ellen so that I could then do my simple fairy tale, but with a different kind of perspective.
The devil does not create. Only mocks what God has made.
There is a hunger
El hombre
inside
lobo.
me.
Esta película de Robert Eggers aún está en proceso de postproducción, ya que su estreno está fijado para este año 2026, específicamente el 25 de diciembre. Así que nos espera una Navidad llena de hombres lobos, licantropía de la mano de Robert Eggers. Ambientada en la Inglaterra del siglo XIII, sigue a una comunidad rural aterrorizada por una misteriosa criatura que convierte las leyendas locales en una pesadilla real. El reparto confirmado es de Aaron Taylor Johnson como Werewolf o el hombre lobo, Lily Rose Depp aún sin un papel definido, William Dafoe y Ralph Ineson, todos sin un papel hasta ahora claro. Esta película fue escrita por Eggers junto al novelista y poeta islandés Jon, colaborador previo en El Hombre del Norte. Esta película utilizará inglés medieval para aumentar la autenticidad histórica. Fue filmada en diversas locaciones rurales del Reino Unido. El director declaró que es el guión más oscuro que ha escrito hasta la fecha. Su director de fotografía vuelve a ser Jarek Blaskake, colaborador habitual de Eggers desde El Faro. En una industria donde muchas veces los grandes estudios apuestan por lo seguro, Robert Eggers ha seguido un camino muy distinto. Lejos de las fórmulas tradicionales, ha construido una filmografía marcada por la paciencia, la investigación histórica y una profunda fascinación por los mitos que han acompañado a la humanidad durante siglos. En apenas 4 largometrajes, ha logrado algo que pocos directores consiguen en toda su carrera: crear una identidad cinematográfica reconocible al instante. Sus historias no solo buscan asustar, sino también transportarnos a épocas remotas donde la superstición, la religión y el miedo a lo desconocido formaban parte de la vida cotidiana. Ahora con Werewolf, Eggers vuelve a explorar los rincones más oscuros del folclore europeo y reafirma su posición como una de las voces más originales del cine contemporáneo. Un realizador que entiende que los monstruos más aterradores no siempre nacen de la fantasía, sino de las creencias, temores y leyendas que acompañan al ser humano desde hace generaciones. Y mientras el cine continúa evolucionando, Robert Eggers nos recuerda que algunas historias nunca envejecen, solo esperan el momento adecuado para volver a la oscuridad y contarse una vez más. Eggers no filma monstruos, filma la forma en que los seres humanos han aprendido a temerlos. Y quizás por eso sus películas resultan ser inquietantes, porque en el fondo sus películas hablan de los temores de nosotros mismos. Muchas gracias por ver este nuevo capítulo de película y nos vemos, si Dios quiere, en el próximo. Chao, chao.